Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. This is Friday night. It's Friday. What's the date today? 25th of January. It's Friday, the 25th of January. We have some very big issues taking place in this country that we need to address, that we need to discuss as a people. We have to have these conversations because at some point we have to be able to fix this country. It's not just for the cussing and the fighting and the arguing. At some point we have to fix this country, because if we don't fix this country, we're in trouble. We're heading for the kind of trouble Venezuela is in. Only worse, because Venezuela is a big country. We're a little country. Venezuela has the highest oil reserves in the world. The world could do without our dirty oil and our gas and our attitude. The world doesn't need Trinidad and Tobago right now. The world would miss us if we disappeared. We contribute nothing of value to the world right now. And we have to face that, because we have this over-exaggerated sense of our self-importance. And we're hiding behind the real issues. We're avoiding dealing with the real issues, believing foolishness. Since 2013, Google searches for anything to do with Trinidad Carnival has been on a downward nosedive trajectory. In fact, it was on a downward since 2009. But on 2013, it started the nosedive. And nobody in the world cares about Trinidad Carnival except the people who own the bands and anything that makes money with Carnival. And that handful of Trinidad and Tobago that goes to all the feds, they have two groups. They have the blacks and the whites and those who think they're white. Yes, it's Trinidad and Tobago. They have the black crowd who's go Army and Wassa and all those, and the whites and those who think they're white. Let's go Fatima and QRC and tribe. So Trinidad is divided by race. Carnival time. For Carnival, if you're Indian, you get to be either black or white, depending on if you have money. If you have money at Carnival time and you're an Indian, you could be white. If you're a Brooks Indian at Carnival time, you have to be black. That's just how Trinidad is set up. But nobody's interested in Carnival. So for those of you who saying that Carnival come in so everything had to wait, no. No. Everything don't have to wait. The 20,000-30,000 people who are interested in Carnival, leave them to their distraction. The wealthy ones, they don't have to care. And the very poor ones who take in bank loans, they shouldn't be breeding anyway. So let them fet it away. Fet it away. They don't have to think. They victims of a P&M education. They think that once you're whining on something, all is well in the world. These videos, not for either of those crews. Those who are making it in life and raping it in life, and those who just don't give a shit. These videos are for the people who want a better country. They don't know how to go about doing it, and I understand that, because we've been abused mentally for all of our lives. We've been told nonsense. We've been fooled into believing that all of the nonsense that makes up Trinidad and Tobago somehow makes sense, when we know that it doesn't. The basic common sense that you're born with tells you it doesn't work. It doesn't work. None of it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we live in a country that took 25 years to adjudicate a breaking and entering in Stevens and Johnson's. 25 years. Let's talk about that, our justice system, because our Commissioner of Police, Super Gary, my dear friend, he could lock them all up, but at some point, I think at around the 30,000 man mark, and that's not a big number, but by the time you have 30 to 40,000 prisoners to deal with, we have a new crisis, because we don't have enough prison officers and enough food and enough ways to manage them. By the time we get to that kind of number, and it's still not going to make an absolute difference at all, except for negatives, and I'm being very facetious here, those matters going nowhere. So then the Parliament will have to get together and say, even though Super Gary is doing an amazing job locking them up, the courts can't keep up with trying them. So let's let them all out again. What would have been the point? What would have been the point is like the thinking people would ask, why would Kamala give all that land in Chagaramas to all those businesses to develop all those businesses to get to Chagaramas is impossible. And that if all the businesses were successful or were having a good weekend, all of Carenage would be jam shut. So why would you develop Chagaramas before fixing Carenage? Why would you get a super Gary to lock them all up before getting a super Chief Justice who could actually do the job? This Chief Justice we have here cannot, and he is too busy right now juggling personal life problems. Our Chief Justice can't do anything right now. He's busy. He is busy. And now that the United Kingdom has just recognized whatever this man is to him and given that guy sanctuary, the Chief Justice problems just got bigger. And in this country, we have a system of justice that does not work, but you're not allowed to talk about it. This is a country where a cabal of racists can use racism to their benefits. But you can't talk about racism. You can't call out racists because in Trinidad, you could be a thief. You could be a corrupt son of a bitch. But if I ask you as a public office holder how you are making off with my money, you could send Michael Kwamina to sue me for defamation. Because Michael Kwamina is a P&M lawyer appointed to state boards, drawing public funds and using them to defend P&M people from being questioned as to how it is you come to be making this money, how it is you come to be giving yourself this, how it is you come to have this. So these are the conundrums of Trinidad and Tobago. Again, the only time we need to have these conversations is if we want to fix it. A lot of you are going to hear me talk about things. If I talk about SCA and I talk about education, you don't care. Tell me, I'm not a child, I have no children, I have no child in SCA. Frig that. That fire burning me. If I talk about public health and you're not sick, your mommy not sick, your child not sick, frig that. Not burning you. That fire not burning you. No problem. What ticks me off though is the speed that you find people like me when that fire burning there. Mr. Philip, Mr. Philip, Mr. Philip. I don't take those calls anymore. I am not in government. There's nothing I could do. I can empathize. We can waste each other's time. You call me and say, I just want to tell you this. I say, write it down and email it to me. Well, you need to hear it first. No, I don't. Because if it is something that I can use to do anything of value it, you still have to write it down, type it, and send it to me. But some of you all just need somebody to talk to. In a country where you know with absolute certainty that the government that you're voting for, PNM and UNC, are complete wastes of time. You know that for a fact. You know that the MSJ was created out of the OWTU to politicize oil field workers. To their detriment, they found that out after the fact. Conversation for another time. David Abdullah is as important and as valid and as relevant as tits on a bull. Serves no purpose to the society anymore. The movement for social justice created social injustice for all of the people that paid their dues to the OWTU. Ansel Roger, David Abdullah, eat, burp, and on their way. They facilitated people higher up the food chain than them, but they in their minds don't think their skin white enough for them to have food at that level. But as long as they're eating more than the brothers below them, they're cool with that. No scene. That's Trinidad and Tobago. We have a lot of those too. There are names for them, but you can't call those names because you can end up in court. You see, it seems, for the most part, it seems, a lot of our court is to protect wrongdoers from being brought to justice. And that too can change. That too can fix if you want to fix it. Y'all walk around like the sun rises and the moon rises, and those two things are carved in stone. And yes, nothing else is. Everything else that is this country and the way the country operates, everything the presidency, the prime minister, how the parliament works, how the courts work, how judges are hired, how judges are fired, all of those things can fix. Because you are the people, and it is the people all of those things serve. But we have been lazy for quite some time, and they figured us out. Divide us and feed us. Once we're divided and each of us think that we're getting better than the other, we cool. We don't mind if other people make off with the whole kit and the caboodle. We don't care. As long as we fighting the other side. Blacks fighting Indians, Indians fighting blacks, using their votes not to develop the country, using their votes, black people voting to punish Indian people, and Indian people voting to pay back black people. And our politics has been a reflection of stupidity. The reason most of my followers are Trinbagonians who live abroad has to be that thinking people know how to escape a sinking ship, first of all. But these people still love their country. They still love Trinidad and Tobago. To even have a care or concern for this country after you escape to a first world nation, I think you should all get national awards. To even look back, after you get that green card and that stamp, after you get a next country passport, to even look back at this place that has done you nothing but misery. Because let's be honest, let's be totally and completely honest. Trinidad is not a good place. There is nothing here of value. We love Trinidad and Tobago because this is where we're from. We don't equally love Barbados or Jamaica or Guyana or North Korea. Where you bloom, you planted. I mean, where you planted, you bloom. But if we were to push past normal eye from here and then just contrast and compare Trinidad and Tobago with every other nation in the world, our only consolation is we are not Rwanda or we are not Somalia. Everything else passing us. Ask Brian Saul. He said run the National Lotteries Control Board in Trinidad and Tobago. He's gone to Haiti to set up their own for them. Ask him how Haiti passing us. Ask anybody in Guyana how Guyanese people have a serious problem with Trinidadians. And we making joke memes about them on Facebook, and they passing us financially. And they always had more than us. And the one thing that we had that they didn't have, they now have more than us too. Yeah? None of you want to be hearing this. Come on now, Philip. It's Friday night. Let's get drunk and wine on a bumsy. And I understand that. Because that's what we are. A nation of people who think that once I'm drunk and whining on a bumsy, all is well. But tomorrow during the day, when it's daylight, and unless it's Carnival Monday and Tuesday, you shouldn't be drunk and whining on a bumsy. You have things to take care of, your responsibilities. And if you listen to your inner voice, it'll tell you, this is not making sense. This is a life. This is a country. Nothing works. The people of Bayshore and West Moorings have said to the rest of Trinidad and Tobago, we don't know you, we don't like you, and we don't want you in our communities. You will pay your taxes, which will fix our roads and clean our drains, but you won't come in our communities because we're better than you. That's what those gates mean. And we're living in a country that's gating itself off. Some people in Laventille would like to gate themselves off too, but they can't because they don't have Rowley over for lunch and dinner. And all of this rambling rant today is to keep saying to you, this country is not like this by accident, and it is nobody else's fault but ours. I watched a doctor in one of the best hospitals in the country say, welcome to Trinidad. There is no A+ blood, and they don't know when to expect that. But the blood bank was closed for the day because the blood bank had no water. And can you take blood in West Shore? Yes, but we're not allowed to. Everybody has to go to the blood bank. So how is it done? Well, you go to the blood bank and you give the blood there. And you have to get a chit. And that chit, you have to bring it and give it to the patient. So the patient has, like Monopoly money, 1 pint of blood. And that 1 pint of blood, they exchange that chit for blood when they need it. So you have to actually convince people, if you are in an emergency and you need blood, you have to convince people to go to the blood bank, give blood, collect a chit, and bring it to whatever hospital you're in. Because that's how we do it in this banana republic. And all of the people who have been trying to give blood, because I have put out a call for blood, my sister needs a transfusion. All of the people who have been trying to give blood have taken time off their work and their lives to go to the blood bank. And 99 out of 100 can't give blood for some reason. And it could be anything. And as if needing to add insult to injury, today the blood bank closed. Closed because they had no water. So the entire public health system collapsed today. If anybody needed blood, you would have to survive till tomorrow in Trinidad and Tobago that spent $60 billion on public health in the last 10 years. Where? On what? On what? On what? What did we spend it on? What did we spend the $60 billion that we spent? And I tell Trinidad and Tobago, there's only one reason for electing Philip Edward Alexander to office, and that is this. I will jail the people. I will prosecute and I will jail. The same way they've written laws to protect wrongdoers, we will write laws to jail their ass. And I am not joking. There are a lot of people who live in very big houses, in very fancy communities that are that are very much deserving of living in a proper gated community on Frederick Street, who have used any access to political puppets to fatten themselves and enrich themselves. But Philip Edward Alexander wants one job: to go and get that money back. I want to be the person that drags them and their names out in the public. You ever notice how if you arrest a black man in Trinidad and Tobago, you'll see face big on Facebook, on Guardian, Express. Look, this black man was arrested today. His name, his address, where he from, what he arrested for. If you're high color business owner, no picture, no name, they allude to the crime. A business owner, if it make papers. If it make papers. If you hold a little black boy, 3 sticks of weed, you could parade him on Facebook. Look, mommy, nice boy. The cocaine that passing through Bayshore, that, when they go in, when OCNU go in house in Westmoreland and cut open couch looking for coke, that don't make papers. Even though it reach inside Guardian newsroom, it don't make papers. Because some of the people who couch they cut open are advertisers in the Guardian. If the little black boy with a 3 sticks of weed had an advertising budget, maybe his name wouldn't be there. This is your country. And we don't want to face it. And we don't want to be honest about it. No problem at all. But unlike Venezuela, I want to be able to say, full confidence, you knew, we told you, you were very aware. This is the truth of your country. This is what is broken. This is how you fix it. This is why it's broken. And this is an option. And if you decide, no, I like things how they are, and you're entitled to that, you're very much well entitled to that. No problem at all. But I strongly suggest to all the people who have any opportunity to leave, if 2020 or whenever the election is called, either the PNM or the UNC wins, just go. Don't wait to balance it. If you could put things in place now, if you could organize, go in the bank every day and buy 200 US and just keep saving it, get yourself ready. Identify where you might be going. Organize a deal. If you have a family, buy a shipment of Milo, ship it to them, let them sell it, and deposit the money in the bank for you. Find creative ways. Sell your house half price, give away your furniture, hand the bank the keys, and go. Because if either the PNM or the UNC win an election in this country again, that's it. Over. It's over. Because there's nothing left. There's nothing left. They both have borrowed to steal. We have more debt than the Heritage and Stabilization Fund could provide cover to operate the country. So be clear. Our debt, internal, regional, international, our debt is greater than our ability to pay. And Rowley is panicked. The Prime Minister is panicked. And Kamala, in her last-ditch act of desperation to find relevance, jumped out herself and recognized the opposition president of Venezuela. Now, plain talk, I don't give a shit about Maduro, and I don't give a shit about Guaido or whoever his name is. Not my circus, not my monkeys. And it shouldn't be this country's role to involve itself in Venezuela internal affairs. And now that the big guns, because Kamala was recognizing nobody until Trump come out, because Kamala know she'll get slapped down. Venezuela would have slapped her down. But Trump now is rearing his big and orange head. But you're involving yourself, and Keith Rowley involving himself with Maduro to go and try, and this is the most disgusting act by any prime minister, I think, in our history. And we've had some reprehensible prime ministers. I mean, people who Satan might turn back. No. We don't want you. And if St. Peter don't want you, let them create a new place for you. Or you're too nasty even for hell. Eric Williams was too nasty for hell. Patrick Manning, too nasty for hell. Basdeo Panday, the reason Basdeo Panday still alive is because neither side want to claim him. So both of them say, hey, let him walk around some more. Because we don't know what to do with him. Fussy, stinking, dirty, and nasty. And you don't want to say that. Because for some reason, if you face the truth, you think something might change, your world might collapse. I'll tell you, the only thing that will collapse in this country, if we started to face the truth, is the criminality around us. But again, that's up to you. But of the nasty things that were done by a prime minister, Keith Rowley, going to con artist Maduro to try and steal the property of the Venezuelan people through a hidden, and Stuart Young. Stuart Young, you're so stinking dirty, I mean, you're a young fella, After this done, you ought to walk around in this country. You ought to walk around, well, I mean, unless you migrate and go. But you're real nasty, Stuart. You're nasty. All your friends must look at you and think, this is what he always was. How could you be a party to signing a deal in Venezuela to steal Venezuela's gas, the people's gas? It's not Maduro's gas. It's the people's gas. You know the whole Dragon gas field deal was Venezuela had no choice. And they was looking for somebody to palm off the loot on. Trinidad show up. Trinidad. We come to do business with you. You steal it, we will cart it away. That's what Rowley and Stuart Young went to Venezuela for. That's what the conga line dance was. We are all thieves in a line. We are all thieves feeling fine. Rowley, Maduro, Stuart Young, and the rest of them. And to the detriment of the people of Venezuela. And today, the people of Venezuela, and I said this yesterday, so all this stunt Kamala and them stunting, they could stunt for y'all in this monkey cage. The rest of the world does not think the way Trinidadians think. And the rest of the world, right now, the people of Venezuela are saying, We are very disturbed by Trinidad and Tobago. And watch me. Time longer than time. Venezuela is not going to be that way forever. Venezuela is a naturally wealthy country. And they're going to find their feet back. And they're going to stand up again. And then Trinidad and Tobago will rule the day. We treated them and their people the way we did in their hour of need. And the United States of America, through the ambassador, said the United States is very concerned with Trinidad and Tobago's decision to recognize Maduro. Now, the information we have, and I find the lack of information about Venezuela is unnerving, because it took a year to swear this man in. And I found that strange. It's like today the news, they ran a story about an 83-year-old pensioner who was robbed at a bank. An 83-year-old pensioner robbed at a bank. So I read in to see what it take from this man. They take this man's pension. They took $180,000. How would you describe somebody as a pensioner if they're in the bank with a bag with $180,000 in it? Oh. I found that most strange. Kamla Persad-Bissessar thinks that Trump is now going to be passing through Central and South America, recognizing opposition leaders and making them leaders. Because she do that today as an act of pure desperation, because she can't win a bingo in this country. Her party is falling apart. And on the 29th of January, what day is that? That they're having their big rally. It's the 29th, the 25th, the 9th. What, I don't know what day they come in with. Members of that party are staging all kind of coups inside of there. The one thing they all agree on is they all want Kamala gone. And Kamala and her handful of misfits who are in Senate drawing a little pittance because they're loyal to her, won't tell her that she's wildly unpopular, that nobody trusts her, that her legacy is either A, she is extremely corrupt and devious, or B, she's incompetent and allowed corruption to be the order of the day of her government. And either one is a reason not to ever entertain the thought of her as Prime Minister again. Under Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Rudal Modilal and the HDC went mad with our money. And if you were to audit, forensically audit the HDC, and to the PNM and the UNC hierarchy members who just tell me, Phil, you see how you call these people names? They will never want to do business with you again. That's why I call their name. Because I don't want to ever be in a position where either PNM or UNC could be a consideration. I say this franco, man. Neither is the lesser evil. And if we can't vote ourselves out of that mess, I am leaving. I'm gone. I will find a new place to call home. And from the moment that I tell my foreign-based Chinese, who I have the greatest respect for, from the moment I land and from the moment I am accepted as a citizen or a resident, that's it. My concern now is what's going on in that country. The devil could take Trinidad after that. And those of you who say, how you can turn your back? Not at all. Every single day of life, we here fighting, fighting, fighting. Anybody to turn their back on Trinidad and Tobago are those who would still, despite seeing everything and all of the evidence, PNM telling you all the ways UNC thief, UNC telling you all the ways PNM thief, you are realizing that both of them thieving from you. That's the thing that I don't get. That you don't realize that they're thieving from you. Now, if they weren't getting away with this kind of madness, the blood bank will function properly. And that your family members wouldn't have to die waiting for blood. in a blood bank that closed because current went or because water gone, and we have one blood bank and two nurse, and if one don't come to hold the strap and the other one come to hold the needle, it have to close. We don't care. We don't care that this is our country. We've turned our backs on it. We are responsible. All them little Syrian children liking themselves in multi-million-dollar cars, living it up because we stupid. We stupid. Clot. As a half Syrian, they ain't have that much cloth. Yes, we went and sleep under people's car and under people's house, but they don't have that much cloth. But we tell you, hard work make 50 billionaires. Hard work and cloth. And we buy that and they laugh because we foolish, we stupid, we don't care. If we cared, Trinidad couldn't operate this way. If we cared, and all the people who say they never had a choice, you lie. You always had a choice. And if you wanted, if people believed, there are so many good people in this country that have lived and died never serving because they believe that you don't care. You don't give a shit. So why step up to have their names ruined by PNM and UNC, sycophants and the contract mafia behind them, doling out narco dollars? Because you can't launder all, so some had to come out election time. Where do you think that $500 in New Jersey does come from? Central Bank? Scotia? FCB? Republic? No Pali? Mexico? Run a black light over it. Narco dollars flowing through political parties. Trinidad and Tobago. Morgan Job told us that 30 years ago. 30 years ago. We've just stood idly by and watched this country slowly circle the drain like we're going down the toilet. You know how you just watch it? You ever see a toilet that choke and you flush it and you cross your fingers that the water go down instead of up? Ever happened to you? You never catch your ass, eh? I know real catch your ass, eh? Today I listened to a doctor trying to explain how a basic antibiotic, gentamicin, he said it, you know it's been here forever, but it's not here anymore because it's Trinidad. And things tough, times tough, no foreign exchange in Trinidad. I told y'all this week, a day in our future, not too far. A slight hiccup. You see, like right now, the US could say, siding with Russia and China, hold some sanctions. Nothing you're selling, we want to buy. Because understand this, eh? It is United States consumption that elevates China, India, Venezuela, Brazil. Believe it or not, the 300 million people in America and the barely 100 million people in Canada, England, those countries' consumption is what allow the poor countries like China and India, because guess where they're selling it to? What they're making money from. So when you talk and you hear China is the biggest and Russia is the most powerful, miss me with that bullshit. Because without United States consumption, Venezuela oil and Trinidad oil and Saudi Arabia oil is 32 cents a barrel. It is American consumption that we feed. And if they decide tomorrow to roll the other way, they will destroy all of our economies. Trinidad, Brazil, Venezuela, Mexico, all this shit all they're talking, Trump and the wall. Mexico relies on America like a parasite. Without America, the entire Caribbean dead. Dead. Yeah, we could suck mango. Nobody telling you no. Barefoot, bareback with the navel push out, no problem. Suck mango morning and evening. But the standard of living that we have now, the quality of life that we know and we want, that whole Chris Brown, Rihanna kind of finish, we like to go in the people and them club with polish, weave down. What is do the eyebrows now? What do you call it? All that. Gone. Suck mango. Go back to beating dudup. Even our steel pan, even that come from America. The oil drum sent here for our oil from America. And if we don't get it, we'll get it. That's the funny thing about fact. That's the funny thing about the truth. You have no choice but to get it, even if you don't get it. And at some point, it's going to dawn on a lot of these people who are outside there talk about Yankee imperialism and CIA expansion and all this bullshit. Because whether or not it is true or false, it doesn't matter. Because there is nothing we could do about it. And railing against a hurricane don't stop it from blowing. Trinidad and Tobago is trying very hard to destroy itself. And we're doing that applauding a jackass prime minister and looking to an incompetent, corrupt drunk across the aisle and saying, if this jackass don't work, we're going to try drunky monkey again. Because we're stupid that way. We're stupid that way. They say the only thing that you don't try and try again, if you fail, don't try again, is parachute jumping. We didn't learn, and it is either that we cannot learn or we don't want to learn. I don't know what to tell you. Too many of us. Once Massa move we up from the field to the front yard, we don't have to be in the house, you know. We don't even have to be porch Negroes. If Massa bring we in the front yard, well, fire burn them in the field. We ringing that bell. Massa! Look, Kunta Kinte jump in the fence. Front line. Front line. That's we. We gal walk. We move up from a B13 to Audi on the 4th of the month. Scotia calling Border Bank loan. I telling you, I had a Scotia mortgage. And if the 5th day dawn and I ain't pay my mortgage, hello Philip, they don't call him Mr. Alexander, you know. Little call center operatives, hello Philip, Scotia. So you move up from your B14 to Audi, and if that job that they give only slip, everything you own, because you had one more payment left on the B14, and then all that money was yours. And you take all that money, and you go on and give it to Ahmad. And they say, I want something looking German so I could flex. No problem. You flex it. But you had to pay every month. General Finance, Caribbean Finance, Island Finance, Scotia, Republic, RBC, RBTT, whatever the name is now. To flex, to fool, to pull up. And we're confused. Because we're not trying to get a better nation, you know. We're not trying to get a functional nation. For some reason, I mean, look at how we live now in townhouses. We live in townhouses in this country, in apartments, where there is a wall, 6 inches of concrete separating you from your neighbor. And you live there 10 years. And you and your neighbor, hi, bye, hi. You never see inside their house. They never see inside your house. We are literal crabs in a barrel. And we just try it, all of we, fighting up to get a little better, brighter shine, to bust style on people who we just only say hi and bye to. Now you tell me, what is broken in us that we are so interested in not only impressing but busting style on people who we don't know and who don't care about us? I don't understand it. I said on the radio, George Gonzalez Sr. was a bailiff. I used to work with George Gonzalez Sr. during the holidays. And during the holidays, Easter holidays, George would be busy. Because everybody who flam out for Carnival and Christmas can't pay their bills. TNTech will tell you, the black spot truck, busiest in January, February, March. Disconnected. Everybody buy fancy thing working by battery, which is cool. Because if it plug in, it working, because you ain't pay electricity bill. And you can't pay for the car. And you slip twice, and you're 3 months in arrears. Scotia own you. RBC own you. You ever let a credit card get out of hand? You ever let the minimum payment become not enough to stop the credit from accelerating? So you're literally spitting on a fire and you're trapped. A debt cycle. By the time you finish pay off that credit card debt, all the little shit and shingles that you bought, you pay 9 and 10 times the price for them. To impress people who you don't know and who don't care about you. You don't know them and they don't care about you. Most of the people that you're flamming with and you're flamming for, bad talking you when you turn your back. If Jim with Charlie, bad talking Mary, and if Jim with Mary, bad talking Charlie, and that's how we live. Because we have this low self-esteem for some reason, and the only time we feel we have any value is if we bad talking other people. You ever notice that? You ever notice the pride and the gleam Trinidadians get in their eyes when they get somebody to bad talk? Look at Wayne Meister on Facebook. Look at him. Look at what the memes are saying of Wayne Meister. Now, whether Wayne Meister had an affair with a woman in Wassa or not, I don't know. But we didn't wait to know. An otherwise man of impeccable character, somebody that we know, whose word we take and trust, we now tearing him apart, destroying his name, and we don't know if it was a prank, a setup. We don't care. We don't care to know. And the people whose names, the criminals in society who have ruined this country through theft, through misappropriation of public funds, they we play for. They we, Mrs. Good evening, how you going? Hey, yes, she know me. He called me, I got text back. And every now and then, you had to deal with them as they come. You had to deal with them as they touch down, as they land. You had to deal with them. You don't look for him, Kendall. I just see. Before the ink dry on the comment, days get blocked. Yeah. But where we going as a people, I want to show you another view. This country could have been Eden, could have been utopia. It could have been paradise on earth, Trinidad and Tobago, if we didn't have corrupt people utilizing political office to their advantage. When people come and tell me, none of them get jail, I don't want to hear about that. It's because those responsible for preventing corruption, they corrupt too, to the core. So important offices of state, essential offices of state, taking bribe, open bribe, to allow wrongdoers to pass. So you're not going to see contract mafia members making a jail, because when you thief money, you thief bribe money and legal fees too. So you know you had to bribe this controller and that chief, so you pay them their share. There is some honor among thieves in this country, and there's a going rate. I understand that you can go to Cedros and that there are police officers who you can pay for girls, and you can buy one. Normal. Now I hear that. And if you all tell me and you all tell Gary, that's a problem. Tell him. Tell all of them who could do the job. Tell the Coast Guard what you've been telling me. But you know what you're telling me? I can't tell the Coast Guard, Philip. Coast Guard in it too. The essential offices of state in Trinidad and Tobago have been corrupted. There is only one chance. And it's going to be messy for a little while, you know, as all of these upheavers upheave. Because from the time you cut that gravy train, and all of them realize the days of glorifying yourself at the public's expense are over, you're trying to push back. And you're going to try to push back against the wrong man. And for a little while, we will have to teach Zandoli where their place is again. And we are going to have to purge public offices of corrupt public office holders. We are going to have to purge it. We are going to have to suspend, dismiss, fire. And in cases where the law is written that you can't fire, you have to go in the People's Parliament and write a law to fire them. But you have to do it. And you have to appoint to public office men and women of impeccable character and civic mindedness who are driven by the desire to make our country a better country. Can we do that? Can we put aside our selfish drives and desires and stand together as one people under one flag? There's 166 people viewing this. If this was two transsexuals whining on each other in Ian Allen party, 19,000 views. But it's not that. This is serious business. And again, this is the problem with Trinidad and Tobago. We excel at the thick of thin things. And to the people in the Progressive Empowerment Party who've stepped up for what it's worth, you have my unending esteem. Unending. You've given me faith in human nature, even if it's too little too late, even if we can't make it, even if we're outnumbered by the fools, the plebs, and the criminals. We tried. Lot and his family escaped. Sodom and Gomorrah lived to tell the tale. So maybe our job is to fling ourselves to the four corners of the world. And when the end comes for Trinidad and Tobago, and on the news CNN showing you see what they get on for ham? That is a joke. When CNN showing you how they get on that last morning to get their license sticker, trying to get food and water, that's a joke. Maybe our role is to say, it didn't have to be so. It didn't have to be so. We had a chance. We could have fixed it. we knew it was coming. Every single day, the Progressive Empowerment Party rang that alarm bell. Every single day and night. Out there in their numbers. Taking bullshit and ridicule from people who knuckles dragging in the ground, who children belly swell up and they're hungry. And they're suffering. A man watched me do a live video to their security guard. He said, you see man who fall up in Stark? I say, yes. He said, everything you just say, everything I just hear you say is the truth. Why you and Stark fall up? I said, Stark need to eat her food. I don't. And that's sad. Because that little boy had a voice. But we grew up in a country where make it so you could sell it. I want unclenched fists, and I want open doors, and I want forgiveness, and I want mended fences, and I want bridges, and I want all of us to stand together and work hard together to build a better country for us when we old. I watch my dad. My dad is 76, 77. And what he is, and what he was 15 years ago, is uncanny. And now, that once strong and powerful, my father would climb over a wall to fight with a tiger. That once powerful, strong man drags a foot behind him and has to hold on to walk. That, and you could see every movement comes with pain. So just getting through the day is hard. That once strong and powerful man, I know, and I tell people, and I look at myself and I look at my age and I work out the numbers and I think, how many more good years I have? This is 2019. I hope, if we don't win the election, I hope to find a place that I could quickly call home. Because at some point, you're going to need to live in a country that respects you in your old age. Granny, get killed by an army truck. Murdered! The front seat of a little car. Going through an intersection where a maxi taxi illegally stopped, but maxi taxi could illegally stop anywhere because this is Trinidad. And it would have been ironic if he had illegally stopped to buy a kiss bread, illegally vending, because it's Trinidad. Not all this shit roll you want to tell you with his pies and his graphs, his charts, and all that nonsense, and all the foolishness Kamala want to do stunting for people to applaud. They waste of time because the country is a shithole. It's a cesspool. It's a failed nation. It's a banana republic in every meaning of the sentence, of the phrase, the words. It's a narco state. Nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing. The entire thing is broken and in free fall. And all of us just getting by. All of us, every single day that we survive till the night, it is to close our eyes and sleep with hope that we survive till the morning. We, in this country, are just getting by. Give us a reason to get drunk, no problem. But after the drunk, we have to get home. And 2 nights ago, a man outside his yard in Ben Ali Drive pulled into that formerly middle-class area and drove in his yard, and 4 young men with bandanas across their face came out of his neighbor's hedge, held him up with guns, took his house keys from him, went in the house, ransacked the house, came back outside, put their hands in his pockets, took his phone, took his wallet, took the car, and left. And left with his possessions. everything that we do, we don't know where. I mean, the other day I was driving on the road and I got a chest pain, drove in West Shore quickly, got some tests, $1,850. It's just some stress. You're working too hard. Take a little break. No problem. But what if I couldn't? What if it was debilitating? What if it took away my ability to do all the things that I do? Where was I going to turn? And what if, like Johnny Gonzalez was the head of Digicel Rising Star. You remember Johnny? Johnny wrote music. He's known internationally. But Johnny was dying of pancreatic cancer and they didn't have medication for Johnny. Johnny's brother had cancer and didn't have medication for him either. So what if you end up in the hospital, because it can happen to any of us at any time? You get an accident. I was driving down the road at midnight on October the 10th, 2008, and a truck broke a major road and slammed into the Prado I was driving, and 4 hours later I was having my first of 4 surgeries. Lost a year of my life. A year. The message was clear. At any time, a truck hit me on my left back door. That means I done past the street he fly out of, you know. You can't brakes. They have no way in defensive driving that they could teach you to avoid a vehicle that hit you on your left back door. There's no way. It's like trying to tell you that there's a way to avoid a meteor landing on the roof of your car from space. There's no defensive maneuver. The message was clear, and I didn't lose the lesson at any time, from anywhere. All of us. It could be anything. You could drink the wrong thing. A man in England opened up a PAD from Trinidad, chug it down, and in his chest, his heart bust, because he drank pure liquid cocaine from Trinidad. Prior to dying, he was just drinking as we drink. If something as harmless as drinking a sweet drink could bust your heart in your chest. I had a conversation with a guy today that's explaining to me how much mad people in St. Anne's were put there by marijuana. And how many people don't know. And these are questions that the government not having. I want to put that in the public space too. That not everything is as harmless as you think. And all of these things. We cannot continue to live in this broken country. How could? I tell people today, I deleted the video because I was very upset and very stinking in that video. But how my sister's paying $9,000 a day in West Shore for a room because they can't let her go, because they can't get the antibiotics. She is paying $9,000 a day. They hope to have it by Monday. So she's spending, well, the family is spending an extra $18,000. And if they get it by Monday and they could start her on it, they want to do a blood transfusion before they send her home, but she has A+ blood and our blood bank don't have A+ blood. And I'm knowing all of this. And for too long, I want to go in the Port of Spain General Hospital, and I want to tell you the reason the Progressive Empowerment Party exists is because of the public health and the ambulance service. And me, Harry Hunt, and Ian Griffith, we used to meet every week in Westmall in the food court to organize an activist group and to take the Ministry of Health and the state to court to sue them for lives lost in public health. But do you know that doctors cannot speak out about the condition of public health? They risk jail. There is a confidentiality clause so that the people who are reaming this country's treasury out, who are supplying us with overpriced drugs and supplies 15, 20, 30 times the value. Nobody in public health allowed to talk? Do you know all those people who take videos in the hospital could make a jail? That is illegal. None of that information is supposed to come out. We live in a country where wrongdoing is protected by law, where criminality is shielded from the public eye. Where lawyers and courts have been pressed into service to shield and protect wrongdoers, where the parliament and the legislature have written laws that legitimizes corruption. Trinidad and Tobago has one chance, the next election, to vote itself a better party so as to have a better country. There's no two ways about it. None. Don't like me. I have no problem with that. But find somebody to do the job that is not PNM and UNC. And don't find any that was vomited out of either of those parties, who've had public office and failed. Don't. All of these members of parliament, Fuad Khan and Stephen Cadiz, all of them are telling miss me with your bullshit. If you didn't stand up, Vasant Bharat have all the answers now. If you didn't stand up in the parliament and in the Senate and say, Mr. Speaker, today I want to talk about the government that I am a part of and the bullshit that they're doing. Because it's wrong. It's wrong. And that's why for everybody out in the Congress of the People, there was only one man that I gave any respect to. And if he were the leader when the People's Partnership was in office, Kamala could not get away with half the shit she got away with. And it's Vernon de Lima. It's a man of integrity and character and morals and ethics. Missing from this society, missing from politics, missing from the country. Everything for sale, everything, you could bend any corner. You could twist anything. You see, corrupt and broken, a stuck record. A stuck record. I feel like that. Saying the same thing over and over. Tomorrow at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue, 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine, the Progressive Empowerment Party has two public meetings. Tomorrow at noon, one in North, Port of Spain, one in South, St. Madeleine. Come and attend. Now, I went pellet gun shooting because Paul Nahus owns Blue Line Academy in Newtown. And I went because I still have a little child in me, and I want to shoot at targets, and I want to shoot at Sweden Can. But they have jackasses in this country who cannot be trusted with things like crossbows and pellet guns because they go into the forest and they shoot defenseless animals. Today, somebody shot an owl. What are you doing shooting an owl? Are you going to eat it? So then what was the point? To say you could point and pull a trigger? A monkey could do that. You could train a monkey to do that. Ask Paul Nahus. He will tell you. So you're taking innocent animals' lives for what? So now we need to ban all that. All those air guns, all those pellet rifles, all those crossbows. If you cannot be trusted to not point it at a living thing, then ban it. We need to ban all of those things. We need to ban hunting in Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad is too small. If you want to hunt, jump on a pirogue and go Guyana, go Venezuela. It is not that expensive. Trinidad is too small. We have about 10 ocelot, or you kill 9. We need to ban it. What is wrong with us that we have to go in the forest and find defenseless animals and shoot them with projectiles? That is not hunting. That doesn't make you a man. If you want to be a man, go and fight the animal hand to hand. And if you win, you're a hunter. And if he win, you're dead. But don't go and shoot it from 50 feet away and think that make you look like a stud. It doesn't. It makes you look like an asshole. And to these little fellas outside there, killing howler monkeys and killing adult monkeys to thief their babies and sell them. I can't say the things I want to say now.
It is a living vibration, rooted deep within my Caribbean belly. Lyrics to make a politician cringe, or turn a woman's body into jelly. Shake it on, shake it on. It is a sweet soca music, and if so,
Who sang it first? The real jamming start on today. The real jamming start on today. What do we do from here? Do we continue fighting? Do we continue building? Do we continue trying? That is the message to all thinking people as they look out at the mass of stupid people still talking PNM and UNC nonsense. We are not going to know until an election is called who has the greatest number of people in this country. Forget the racism. Let's talk about sense versus stupid. If there are more stupid people than sensible people in the country, then either the PNM or the UNC will win because stupidity would have reigned. But if there are more sensible people than stupid people, then the sensible people would put aside any problems that they have and stand together as one people under one flag. So we have to work hard for the next couple months to create a real political vehicle, a viable alternative to the madness taking place in that parliament. I am saying to those of you who, for whatever reason, do not support the Progressive Empowerment Party, but don't support the PNM or the UNC, organize yourselves. Make yourselves into a political vehicle. Stand up. Stand up and have your voices heard. Don't just sit idly by. The corrupt and the racists, they're not chilling. They're not holding their corner. They're coming for victory. They want their racist hegemony and the contract mafia that financing them. They want control of the nation's treasury. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago and you don't support us, stand up. Stand up. You have a voice. Stand up and use it. Trinidad and Tobago, we have a responsibility to this country. Tomorrow at noon, we're at 19 Stanmore Avenue. Tomorrow at noon, we're at PEP headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue. And at noon, we're also at the PEP South Regional headquarters, 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. Come out and join us at either location, soon to be in Barataria, Tobago, Arima, and Central. I think it's Cuba. Teresa said they want the crumbs. We have to decide what kind of country that we're going to live in. This cesspool that we're tolerating tonight, or a better country. It's up to us. We get to decide. We get to decide.
Upside down, smiling faces becomes a frown. daughters and sons through this perilous times. I know with you on board, blessings will flow. TNT will again arise to the sweet, sweet paradise. Bring it straight to your head. Bring it back, love you milk and honey. Bring it back, sweet family, the way that it used to be. Bring it back, like love. What was mine was yours too. Bring it back, peace and harmony. My red and black country. Bring it back, I say. Bring it back, I say. Bring it back, I say. When it take a village to grow a child, and all we do was smile. Bring the country back, I say. Bring it back. When we eat from the same pot, bring it back. We drink from the same cup. Bring it back.
Purposely alone at Magazine. If you can look as far as I see, within this great land we call TNT, there's birds and bees, rivers and seas, pretty woman bringing man to their knees. Treasures of this blessed land we always neglect like ISO and pan. I find it so strange the way we arrange. Still this nation don't know how to change. Cause some change it might just mean a new car. Change could mean less than $1. To most change have this nice scent we usually get from the government. You see, change is something we always say, but every time we change, things remain the same way. Things keep getting worse and worse, so this is what I propose. Let's change the change for a better nation. Change the change for all foundations. Change the change so that we could say that this nation here came from quite down there. I say change the change within the school systems. Stop changing ministers and change what we teach them. But things won't change despite all we do if change doesn't start with you.
When the Iraq War first started was January 17th. I cannot remember the year, but I remember it was January 17th because that's my birthday. And I remember the skies over Iraq lit up. Things are very dangerous right now in Venezuela. Things are there are fingers on triggers. Things could turn overnight. We're heading there. On my Facebook page, I just shared a picture of a maternity ward in Venezuela that has been reduced to cardboard boxes. I was in West Shore Medical Center today, where if you go there with a heart condition, you have to put $200,000 on deposit. I was in West Shore Medical Center today, $9,000 a night for a bed. $9,000 a night for a bed. And I was in West Shore Medical today, and they don't have blood, and they don't have medication. Watching that picture of the maternity ward in Venezuela with the little babies in cardboard boxes held together with masking tape, I know we not far from there. And with our jackass of a prime minister embracing Maduro, the United States of America may roll heavy on us. Because when you are escalating a confrontation, you deal with the upholders, you deal with the people who keeping that country surviving. You could see Coast Guard American warships between Trinidad and Venezuela stopping the pirate trade of corned beef and toilet paper for guns, drugs, and prostitutes. Because that's what they trade in. We take guns, drugs, prostitutes, and we give them corned beef, macaroni, peanut butter, toilet paper, rice, and we get girls, and we get arms and ammunition, and we get narcotics. The United States of America may want to interrupt that trade. It may want to put sanctions on Trinidad and Tobago for daring to defy the lead country in our hemisphere. So cuss them till they're blue. It can't change, and we can lift up Trinidad and move it. So brace. That could be our situation. That could be where we head in. I have no good news for you tonight.
I visited Parliament Chamber, witness an orchestra, a bang, bang, bang of only politicians. Rated their performance and style, talent and endurance, a bang, bang, bang of parliamentarians. All the things that encourage hate, making good folks discriminate, bridges replaced by gates. Nurturing racism, prejudice and tribalism, multiculturalism, mamarchism from the UNC and the PNM, COP in the political symphony. It's a symphony. The TOP, MSJ and JAC and the political symphony. It's a symphony.
Others will tell you, let the devil take tomorrow. The devil is a brilliant accountant, and he will come to collect. We cannot afford to fiddle while Rome is burning. We've ignored to our peril the mismanagement at the highest levels of this country, and it has come to bite us in our ass. They've shut down Petrotrin, the major engine of economic activity in the country, in the hopes that we would be benefiting from the Dragonfield gas deal, and that is all but dead. Sandals is gone. There is nothing. There is nothing coming down the pipeline, and Keith Rowley and his band of bandits and incompetents have no clue what next to do. Anything can happen in Trinidad and Tobago right now. It's insane. We are literally a gunpowder keg praying the Johannes Sparks. Trinidad and Tobago, all the bullshit in your head, put it aside. The country is in peril. Our nation is in peril. You cannot continue to carry on with the same activity that brought us here and hope that it could be the savior. Watching Dylan, and I don't know what this girl name is, who the promo girl who Rowley hired because she was giving away bags in a petrochemical exposition. Watching Lee Hunt and Franklin Kahn trying to explain to PNM sycophants that the $13 billion debt that broke Petrotrin wasn't their fault, but it is PNM people, Conrad Enel, Malcolm Jones, Ken Julian, Patrick Manning, that destroyed Petrotrin. Kamala and Rowley and Pandey put a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a sister, husband, the cousin, mother, all this stupidness. Give them vice president and this and vice president and more vice president than they knew what to do with. Everybody drawing a big salary and driving company car, living in company house, liking themselves. Not understanding that all of that contributed to the break that broke the whole thing. But listening to the PNM try to pretend that they're not responsible was a laugh out loud moment in a tragic farce and a scary reality. Tomorrow at noon, we meet once again to build a real alternative to the madness that is passing for governance in Trinidad and Tobago. If you have a skill set, if you have an ability, if you have a love of country, join us at either 19 Stanmore Avenue or 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. Come and join the conversation. Come and make yourself available to serve. Come and add your opinion and your advice. All of you who have a lot to say, come and say it in person. Come and exchange ideas. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where we will begin the process of really rescuing our Trinidad and Tobago. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to have to stand up and fight for it. You're going to have to join forces, and you're going to have to stand ready to rescue our country. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.